Hello and welcome to another episode of Quarantine with Fulbrighters, where we bring the best Fulbrighters from Pakistan to you for a conversation during this quarantine. And we have again somebody who has done phenomenal work in the field. Sidra Nizamuddin is here with us, who has a master's in finance from Georgia Tech. How are you doing, Sidra?
I'm fine. Thank you, Shazad. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. As somebody who's done a bunch of these podcasts, I thought I was quite a professional host. Then I found out about your degree and I realized I cannot even pronounce the degree. That is how difficult it is. Let me get this straight. It is a master's in computational and quantitative finance. Is that right?
Yes, Masters in Quantitative and Computational Finance. Yes,
It's okay.
you are
It's still the
perfect.
same thing. I mean,
Yes,
I
yes,
got
yes,
the computational first. That
yes, of
sounds so
course.
difficult. What exactly is that?
It was a mix of courses from the mathematics department, the industrial school of engineering, and the business school. So that it was, and
Is
it was
is
a
this
great
the South
experience.
Asian parent pressure that comes? Is like rather than choosing between engineering, economics, and maths, you decided I'll do all three at once.
Yes, this is no, my parents, frankly, my parents never like compelled me to get into anything. Engineering initially, earlier, my degree was in
Okay,
engineering from UET Lahore.
nice.
So, that degree basically gave me the perfect background for this course. So I went for this course with two of my kids, and it was great.
Great. So you did your bachelor's in engineering, and then after
Yes,
coming back from your Fulbright, you founded the Center for Labor Research.
yes,
So
yes.
how did
It
CLR come about?
Yes, basically, I and Iftihar Ahmed, he's another
Hmm.
Fulbright of Conde, we co-founded CLR, the Center for Labor Research, in 2018. It basically aims to promote labor right awareness among masters in Pakistan. And our ultimate aim is to be able to influence the employment legislative regime of Pakistan
Hmm.
by producing data-based research. So we have provided an online platform where people can report all kinds of workplace rights violations,
Nice.
from sexual harassment at workplace to occupational accidents, child labor, discrimination at workplace, remuneration issues, and other work time violations they might want to report. So we really encourage people to do that.
So anybody can go online to your website and report uh,
Yes, and
any
yes,
illegal
at the
activity or any
Whistlers. If
infringement.
you go, yes, on our website
Hmm.
under the Whistlers, that is available, and the data we collect at the through the Whistlers,
Hmm.
that is showcased on violation maps that are also available on our website.
Nice.
And so basically, the violation maps show you in what city of Pakistan exactly how many of these different kinds of
What
violations took
what is the
place.
worst city in terms of labor violations?
Um, I cannot exactly give you an idea because we have been unable
Is it
to
Karachi? Is it
collect.
Karachi?
We we have been no we people have not been reporting
Okay.
as much. I don't know if it's so. Through your platform, we would like to encourage people to do this because we want real data on.
Hmm.
Because we think that a lot of violations are not being reported. So if people do so, it would help us in our work and help us help um, promote decent work in Pakistan.
So what's the process like? If I see a labor violation or if I see somebody's employment rights being infringed upon, I go on the website and I report it. What happens after that?
What I, it's basically you are giving us data,
Okay.
so we would be able based on that data. Obviously, we cannot replace the government, and people have trust issues. I think
Hmm.
we we what do you call it, we ensure confidentiality, total confidentiality, but we basically it's for ourselves, so we can tell the government, look, this is the number of cases, The cases being showcased in your reports, these are the cases which are not being covered in your reports.
Okay.
In real life, it's these many cases happening, but your reports are not showing the exact number of cases. So the problem is a lot bigger than it is being presented, actually, because people are reluctant to report.
Yes. So is the problem a lack of legislation, or is the problem a lack of enforcement of legislation?
Both. There are problems with the law as well, and they have enacted laws for to counter sexual harassment at workplace discrimination, but the thing is, the implementation is very weak. There are huge hurdles to that.
So,
So
for
the
instance,
government
something
really
like
needs.
child labor, there are laws against it, but anybody who lives here sees a lot of child labor. Do you also operate in the private sector? If there's child labor which is employed in people's homes, can people report that?
Yes, any kind of violation
Hmm.
in private homes, um, or government sector, any kind of violations, you can report them to us. And Iftikhar Ahmed, he has extensively written, the founder at CLR, has extensively written um, about various labor rights issues in Pakistan for the past 10 years in renowned dailies. And yes, we want to produce research. Obviously, if we have the data, we would be able to produce that. So that would be a great thing. But for now, obviously, we are using other government sources to produce whatever we can. But ideally, if each and every incident gets reported, that's the ideal thing, and that is what we aimed for when we initiated this.
How do you think your work has impacted the labor regime in Pakistan?
Yes, so basically, we published this report, The State of Labor Rights in Pakistan, um, after Pakistan being awarded the GSP Plus status. Basically, the European Union, it awards this status to the vulnerable economies, which it wants to help by giving duty reliefs. So those economies that have the GSP Plus status, they
What
do
does
not
GSP
have
stand
to.
for?
It's generalized systems preference. Yes, Pakistan was awarded this status in 2013. So Pakistan, on its exports to European countries, Pakistan got a huge tax relief, this duty relief. So they don't have to pay the duty tax on their exports. So that report, yes, is being used by the government of Pakistan to negotiate with the European Union on an annual basis. And the GSP Plus status has been extended to 2022. And the countries, basically, our report, it's based on the data from 2018, the labor force survey data. And it suggests that 52% increase in exports was observed after Pakistan being after Pakistan being awarded this status. So basically, these companies are required to, promote decent work practices. They have to follow certain labor standards for
Yes.
them to be able to maintain this status. So it encourages it. There was a fall in child labor.
Nice.
There was a rise in formal regulated labor. So when I say formal labor, those who are protected by the labor law in Pakistan. Not all the economy, not all the labor workers are protected by the labor law in Pakistan. So but there was a rise in the regulated ones. Okay, I would also like to mention that we have two very important projects underway. We are working on the gig economy of Pakistan, that is the digital platform, if you have heard about it.
Please tell me more.
Digital platform economy, like app uh, workers.
Hmm.
You have these riding services, Uber,
Yes.
Careem, these domestic service providers. You have like Ghar Par, Mauka, and you have some other services, delivery services like
Yes.
Baikia.
Yes.
All these are all these are part of the gig economy of Pakistan. Pakistan is the fourth largest rising gig economy now. Um, so basically, we are working on a project with Faywork UK. That is again an Oxford University project, and it works on promoting decent work practices. And it's their pilot projects are working in different countries.
Hmm.
They wish to implement their pilot project in Pakistan, and we would be hopefully be doing it with them. That's underway. Then we are working on the labor rights index.
Okay.
It would be the first de jure comprehensive labor rights index ever.
Okay. What
So
exactly is that? What exactly is the labor rights
it would
index for
it
people
would
who
it
don't know?
yes, it would cover like 115 countries
Hmm.
across 46 different labor standards. So basically, the labor your country's ranking on the labor rights index tells you
Hmm.
where it stands in terms of um, decent work practices, in terms of providing the rights to the due rights to their workers.
Hmm.
So that's the one we are working on. Is going to be, inshallah, going to be the most comprehensive ever. It covers all the labor
Brilliant.
laws.
That's great. All that is phenomenal work, but specifically to do with the word that is on the top of all of our minds, the thing that we all think about, COVID-19. How has that specifically impacted the labor market, specifically to do with Pakistan?
Yes, I was about to come to that. We were the first in the wake of COVID-19. We were the first ones to provide assessments on the impact of COVID-19 induced lockdowns on the labor market of Pakistan. And we also launched a web page on our website where you could get a comparative view of the different labor reforms uh, taken by the countries globally
Mm.
um, in the wake of the crisis. So we did an employment analysis and a sectoral analysis. Our sectoral analysis suggested that the most hit, hardest hit sector would be the services sector. That
Obviously.
includes hospitality, tourism, education, transport, and it's 38% of the total labor force, which is 63%, and the employed labor force is 60%. We also estimated that there would be the agriculture sector would be the safest. It was also because the government did not restrict their movement
Mm.
within Pakistan, their activities, so it was good for them. And we estimated 21 million job disruptions because of
Wow.
this. Yes, COVID. The total workforce is 63 million and employed is 60 million. I mean, you can.
I
It's
mean, you can
huge.
probably do the finance a lot better than me, but that's a huge percentage.
Yes, 21 million job disruptions, like layoffs. So
Layoffs.
this
So
is
you're
what
saying 21 million layoffs.
job. Yes, we
Wow.
estimated. We have estimated, and yes, and then we also propose some short-term, medium-term, and long-term measures to be taken by the government.
Hmm.
We propose that WHO approved guidelines should be implemented in all workplaces, and the government should provide protection directly to workers as well as through employers
Yes.
by giving tax relief to employers that keep employees.
Hmm.
And we also propose that the both at the federal and the government level, the people should engage in a social dialogue as to how, in the wake of COVID-19, they should promote decent work practices in Pakistan. Decent work is where the people are paid their dues, right dues on the right time,
Yes.
and they are safe in their offices,
Hmm.
and they don't have to suffer any discrimination.
As a stand-up comedian who does comedy shows, I'm all for calling out employers who don't pay on time. I think once you're in the gig economy like me, where I'm performing shows, or especially for the media, a lot of times we really do not get paid on time. So if
So,
that is something that
so
can
that's
be
and
focused on,
our
please.
work is direct. Our work is directly affecting you.
Yes, 100%. This is why I wanted you on here. This podcast is an excuse for people to listen to me complain about how I don't get paid on time for my stand-up comedy shows.
Hope things get better for you. We are
I
working
mean,
on it.
that's what you guys are doing. That's what the Center for Labor for Research,
Yes,
I hope, does for me.
we are we are reporting to the government. We are proposing them, and hopefully things will get better.
Yes, in this case, snitches do not get stitches. You are encouraging people to snitch, whistleblow.
Yes, yes. So I encourage you and all you know, and you can encourage others to, yes, to report.
So CLR also did a great PPE drive. Can you please tell us some more about that?
Yes, so if you look at it, the logo, it says striving for safer workplaces.
Mm.
So that is what CLR does in routine. So when COVID hit Pakistan, and there was news all over social and print media that there's a severe shortage of PPE,
Personal
especially
protection equipment.
the, yes, personal protective equipment,
Hmm.
especially for the healthcare professionals. Um, we had to do something about it. So we contacted a local company. It's Uniform Colors. They it's a local business in Rawalpindi, and they were also thinking on the same lines. They wanted to produce something to help. So the owner, Mia Athar Jameel at Uniform Colors, he, out of sheer generosity, he agreed that they would provide um, PPE coveralls for our drive at almost at cost price for the first 1 month. And from there, I teamed up with Mia Athar Jameel, who was the
Hmm.
owner there. There was Sobia, who maintained our accounts in spreadsheet, donation accounts in spreadsheet. And there was Dr. Anika from Netherlands. She helped us get the doctor's perspective and context as well.
Hmm.
So we, in our personal capacity, we contacted doctors and YDAs, the presidents of YDAs in different cities of Pakistan, and tried to focus on the hospitals that were in dire need of PPE.
Yes.
And we also, although the government was trying, and we understand it was an unprecedented crisis, um, and no government was ready to face it. Uh, so the hospitals, the government hospitals that did receive supply from the government, it was not sufficient for them, because those were disposable, coveralls for the doctors. So you use it one time, you throw it. So we wanted to distribute something that was more, lasting. And the ones we provided were washable, so washable multiple times, so they could last you like, there were two types of them. They could last, one type could last like 3 to 4 months, and the another type, which was recommended for the ICU especially,
Hmm.
it could last you like a year, and at a very economical price.
Hmm.
So that we provided, around 744 we were able to provide to different hospitals in Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad, Multan, Peshawar, DI Khan, DG Khan, Chakwal, and numerous other Jahilum, other cities. We were able to provide around 2,000 face masks and some 400 plus face shields and 66 surgical gowns, I think. And then yes, Alhamdulillah, people from um, Pakistan, we contacted our friends and family, the people we knew through social media, and we got a good response, Alhamdulillah, from Pakistan and from overseas Pakistanis. So we were able to do that.
So, in terms of what you've done, and I always say this, it's become a cliche at this point, that the Fulbright really is a Fulbright experience. It's not just the degree, but your degree itself sounds so multifaceted. What specifically did you learn while studying so many of these things that you could bring back to Pakistan, and specifically with your work in Pakistan?
Yes, it was a great experience. It was there in Georgia Tech for the first time. I got introduced to data and, and data analysis through different classes, the courses I took, and I really wanted to work on something that would bring a social change in Pakistan, that could help the common man of Pakistan. So that is where our interests aligned. If Tahar Ahmed and uh, my interests aligned, and
Also,
we
the
thought,
common
yes,
woman.
yes, common man and common woman.
Yes.
Yes, yes, that is where our interests aligned, and CLR came into being. So, and talking about my Fulbright experiences, the best part was, apart from studies, the best part was that I made some friends for life from Pakistan, and some international friends from whom I keep learning every day, I would say.
And
So,
you were in Atlanta, right?
yes, I was in
How many
Atlanta.
times did you visit the Coca-Cola factory?
2 times I did,
That's it.
but
I would be there every
yes,
weekend. I
yes,
would
it was
be there.
busy. It was busy.
No, that I would be there every weekend because I think you get to try Coca-Cola from all around the world.
You have been to Atlanta?
Yes, we had I think one of our conferences for Fulbright in Atlanta. I believe it was the conference that Fulbrighters have once you land. So immediately we're in America and we're in Atlanta. It was great.
So you visited the Fulbrighters at Georgia Tech, or did you get to?
I don't remember. In case that was part of the agenda, of course I must have, because no Fulbrighter misses anything on the agenda ever. That's just not on. But I don't remember that being part of the agenda. So for people who are listening, what is some of the advice you would like to give for employers or employees in terms of adopting the best labor practices? What are some of the guidelines you would like to give them?
We propose to the, see, we this is what we do at CLR.
Hmm.
We are promoting a decent uh, work practices,
Yes.
and creating awareness is the first step. I would say, I would like everyone to join CLR in creating this awareness. And we are working with the government as well, government of Pakistan. This ICT for Islamabad, ICT home-based workers bill we have crafted. That's an assistance program.
For home-based workers.
That's an assistance program by the World Bank of Pakistan.
Nice. I'll
That's an
for home-based
that's an
workers.
assistance program of World Bank for the government of Pakistan, and CLR has been commissioned to do that.
Beautiful.
And we have crafted that bill for the home-based workers in Islamabad, and it has been approved by the cabinet August 4th, and now it would be presented in the Senate. So basically, we are interested in, influencing this labor legislation at the federal and the provincial levels. So that can be adopted by the provincial governments as well. This is for Islamabad, but that bill can be. We have covered the freelancers in it as well, as you were saying.
Yes.
The freelancers, yes, we have.
This
So
entire
the
podcast is
freelancers,
about my
so the
rights. That's why
freelancers,
we're doing this.
yes. So the free, if it gets approved, the freelancers would get to enjoy all the benefits that um, an employee under the labor law
Yes.
is entitled to. So yes, they are included in that.
I
And
am glad that somebody finally has recognized all the work that I do. No, it's very important. A lot of these things that you're doing on a serious note are critical, especially something like child labor, which is sadly quite prevalent. I think the more we report on it, like you said, the more the government will realize that it is prevalent and will do something about it. Um, all the work that you're doing is phenomenal. All the work that the Center for Labor Research is doing is phenomenal. The great part is we're part of this Fulbright network, and people who are working in similar fields can join. Um, for people who might be interested, can you tell us the websites or way to join or way to find you?
yes, it's www.clr.org.pk. So you can find us on Facebook as well, Center for Labor Research.
Perfect. And is there a call to action that you like to give to people? Start complaining so that you have the data.
Yes, yes. That please start reporting workplace rights violations on the whistlers at www.clr.org.pk. You go to the whistlers, you will be able to report workplace rights violations of all kinds, sexual harassment, discrimination at workplace, work time violations, child labor. You can report all that.
I hope my employer does not report me for never coming on time. So if I'm late to the office every single day, that's my right.
Yes, the employees have to work on themselves as well.
But employer can't report me, right? Only the employees can report about their
Employees,
right
yes,
behavior.
yes.
Fine, as long as the employers cannot report me for not being on time. I think this entire podcast was about my rights and how to best use CLR to achieve the goals that I want to achieve.
Yes,
So
this is about every common man and woman's
and woman, yes,
rights.
absolutely. So for every common man and woman who is listening to this, let's make a better society together. Labor rights is something that is sadly ignored, and especially during COVID, the labor has been really hardly hit, especially the daily wage laborers in Pakistan. The more we can do to make life easier for them, to make life simpler for them, and to make a conducive work environment. A happy worker is an efficient worker. So all the work that you do and all the work that CLR is doing, thank you so much. Hope the legislation passes, and hope people do snitch on their employers, because when something is wrong, the least you can do is speak about it. And the more we know about it, the more people like Sidra and the people who are in the field doing the research can do something to fix it. So it all starts from you.
Yes, you speak about it, encourage others to speak about it, and create awareness
Yes.
among people regarding their rights at workplace.
What I learned in New York during my Fulbright experience, as I did my MA in theater from Brooklyn College, was if you see something, say something. So keep saying something, and we'll be back with another Fulbrighter next week on Quarantine with Fulbrighters. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Sidra, for joining us. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
It was an absolute pleasure having you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.